Thank you for joining us. We'll get started in just a moment. For folks coming in, thank you for being with us. We'll get started in just a moment. We're just waiting for the room to filter open and everyone to be able to see. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us. A few housekeeping notes before we get started. If you're experiencing any issues with your audio, please check your Zoom and computer audio settings. Exiting and re-entering the Zoom link can also resolve issues. We'll address as many questions as possible during a Q&A session at the end of the program. Please feel free to submit your questions as we go through the presentation. You can submit them through the Q&A function in Zoom. And now I'll turn it over to CFP Board CEO Kevin Keller.
Thank you all for being with us here today. Joining me in Washington, D.C. are two distinguished CFP professionals. Our chair of the board, Matt Boersen, CFP, CFA, and Liz Miller, CFP, CFA. So it's an exciting time to be here with you because we have so much going on at CFP Board. We set a number of records in 2023. We'll talk about some of those. It was also a year of evolution. Today, we'll recap our progress from 2023 and tell you about some new CFP Board resources. We'll share with you some of the work we're doing to build the foundation for the financial planning profession's future, and we'll take some time to answer your questions. Again, the Q&A function is open, so if you have questions, we very much would love for you to send those forward. Let's jump right in. Matt, if you would please review some of the highlights of last year.
Yes, thanks, Kevin, and thank you all for joining us today. CFP Board hosts several Certificant Connection events each year, online and in cities all over the country. They're a really great way for us to share the latest news out of CFP Board. But more importantly, they're a chance for us to hear directly from you. So we appreciate it that you're taking the time to be here with us today, and we look forward to hearing what's on your mind. Like Kevin said, CFP Board achieved some impressive numbers last year. At the end of 2023, there were 98,875 CFP professionals in the U.S. Today, that number has grown to 98,954 CFP professionals. This year, that number will cross 100,000, a milestone that we're really excited about. In 2023, we welcomed more than 6,000 new CFP professionals. Nearly 10,000 people took the CFP exam, and we tallied more than 8,300 CFP Board registered program completions. More important than any of those numbers, though, on their own, is the fact that each of them is an all-time high. Record number of students are pursuing the education that prepares them for the CFP exam and their careers in financial planning. And CFP certification is growing among advisors. It's undeniable that the financial planning profession is definitely on the ascent. The number of CFP professionals at the end of 2023 reflects an increase of 3.9% from 2022, and that is our highest annual growth rate since 2019 before the COVID-19 pandemic. Also noteworthy is that the CFP certification continues to maintain a 97.1% retention rate. Kevin, can you share some insights on that growth?
You know, and one of the things that when we look at by decade, people well into their 70s have a 90% retention rate. So again, those are just very strong numbers. As you can see on this slide, how much our CFP certification has grown over the last few years. When I came to CFP Board back in 2007, we were just over 50,000 CFP professionals. It was a smaller group, obviously, of passionate people who believed very much in providing holistic financial advice. It wasn't that long ago, but the world certainly has changed with fee pressure, computer-aided portfolio construction, TAMPs, just everything that's changed in the marketplace. It's caused, I think, firms both large and small to adopt holistic advice as a core service. And they're encouraging and supporting CFP certification for advisors like never before. So while the number of financial advisors in the US has been fairly flat at about 300,000 in recent years, the number of CFP professionals continues to grow. Awareness is growing rapidly among advisors new to the profession, and our median age of a new CFP continues to fall. It's in the low 30s now. When I came here back in 2007, it was 42. So we've lost almost a decade for the median age of a new CFP professional. But perhaps most importantly, more consumers are recognizing that CFP certification is the standard for competent and ethical financial advice. Liz, let's hear a little bit more about the new CFP professionals we welcomed this past year.
Thanks, Kevin. Of the more than 6,000 new certificants in 2023, 56% are under age 35. So that's that growth of passionate young professionals we need to keep our profession dynamic. In addition to trending younger, this class represents the most diverse class in CFP Board's history. The number of new women CFP professionals grew by 11.5%. The number of racially and ethnically diverse CFP professionals grew by 12.6%. Now remember, this is in comparison to an overall growth rate for the year of 3.9%. CFP Board has been focused for the last several years on working towards a financial planning profession that matches the demographics of the communities CFP professionals serve. We're very proud of this growth last year and how it continues to move us in the right direction. Our vision is for a future where every American has access to competent, ethical financial advice. And we want to make sure that this profession is robust and growing for decades to come. And the only way for those things to happen is to bring more people into the financial planning profession. Matt is going to share with us more about our efforts in workforce development to grow and diversify the talent pipeline.
Thanks, Liz. One of the ways that we're working to expand the talent pipeline and expand diversity is through CFP Board's Center for Financial Planning's scholarship program. In 2023, more than $725,000 was awarded to 176 recipients from 20 different scholarship programs. Our scholarship programs and the dollars distributed have skyrocketed in recent years. Back in 2021, we awarded $200,000, and in 2022, it was $300,000. Last spring, CFP Board announced the WIN Endowed Scholarship, Women's Initiative Scholarship program, which supports qualified women students and professionals pursuing CFP certification. It is our second endowed scholarship. The first is the LeCount Davis CFP Endowed Scholarship, which launched in 2022 and assists qualified Black and African American students and professionals in pursuing their CFP certification. In addition to bringing more diversity to the profession, CFP Board has made significant strides in raising awareness of CFP certification among consumers. And I'll turn it over to Kevin to share some of those details about our public awareness campaign.
Matt, thank you so much. You know, before I share about the public awareness campaign, I just remind our listeners to use the Q&A function. If you have questions you'd like us to address, we'll have time at the end. If we don't get to your question, we'll make sure that everybody who has a question gets that returned. It was back in 2011, I guess 13 years ago, that we took a real leap of faith and launched CFP Board's first public awareness campaign. Before that campaign began, unaided awareness of CFP certification among our target market was 17%. That means that only 17% of your most relevant prospects could even bring to mind CFP or Certified Financial Planner without some form of prompting. So we call that unaided awareness. We also, as we measure, we have aided awareness where we show people CFP. Oh, I've heard of a CFP, CPA, and other designations like CFA and others. So there was a clear need to generate more awareness among the profession. There was more need to generate awareness of CFP certification among consumers. Last year, total awareness, that's that combination of unaided and aided, reached an all-time high of 90%. Our unaided awareness was 34%, so we've more than doubled the unaided awareness over the course of the campaign over the years. And customer preference, which is another one of the key performance indicators that we track, is at an all-time high of 84%. The campaign's target audience is individuals who are 35 to 64, educated, employed, or recently retired, with the minimum household income of $125,000 and investable assets of $100,000 to $1 million. They also have a mindset that makes them more predisposed to working with a financial advisor. And Matt and Liz, I'm guessing that when a prospective client comes in, you probably can smell the mindset within the first 5 or 10 minutes, whether or not it's going to be a good client. That's
Absolutely.
yeah, so again, that mindset, it is, do they trust experts? Do they like working with a team? Do they feel a sense of responsibility for their own personal success? So we measure that as well. In 2023, we launched the latest version of the public awareness campaign. We refer to it at the staff level as 4.0 because it's the fourth major campaign, and it's been our most successful campaign to date. The bulk of the campaign budget will be spent this spring around tax season when finances are top of mind for our target audience. And there are elements such as search engine marketing and social media advertising that'll continue 12 months of the year. The messaging emphasizes the CFP mark and really drives consumers to ask the question, are you a certified financial planner? We've invested more than $160 million in the campaign since we launched it back in 2011, including over $15 million this year. Although we've invested significant resources in the campaign, the reality is that our budget is still less than 0.5% of all spending by banks, brokerages, and insurance companies. If you're interested in learning more about this campaign, the next iteration, we have new TV commercials that we will preview on a webinar next Thursday. For more details, be sure to join in. You can register for that campaign online at cfpboard.net. Matt, I'll turn it over to you and talk about some of the research and surveys we've been doing.
Thanks, Kevin. A few weeks ago, CFP Board released data from our 2023 compensation study. This report includes a lot of data comparing salaries, benefits, and job satisfaction of CFP professionals compared with other financial planners. The main headline is that CFP professionals earn 12% more than other financial planners and experience high levels of satisfaction. Median 2022 total compensation for financial planners was $198,500. Median for those with more than 20 years of financial planning work experience was 250,000. And the findings really underscore the benefits of both a career in financial planning, but in particular that of CFP certification. The report is available on cfp.net. The QR code on your screen will take you directly to the page to access it. That page also has a cool new tool. It's a salary calculator that uses the data from the study. You can use it to look up average salary ranges for financial planners, and you can use different variables to make it more specific, like experience, roles, and geographical area. The calculator also lets you see how holding your CFP certification gives a healthy boost to those average salary ranges. CFP professionals can also access a special version of the compensation study report with more detailed data. CFP Board is also leading the first peer-reviewed academic study to track and to report on the actual impact of holistic financial planning on clients. At the center of this project is a multi-year panel survey that will track, follow, and measure the change in financial conditions and the life goals of households across the United States. The data collected will serve as the basis of an empirical evaluation of the benefits of financial planning and the services of CFP professionals as compared to the services of professionals who don't hold the CFP certification and those who follow a do-it-yourself approach. The survey work will launch this summer, and we expect results in early 2025.
You know, Matt, I'm really excited about this research. We have Vanguard's Alpha survey. We have the Morningstar Gamma survey. This one's going to be this, the financial planning Delta survey. We're looking at what's the difference it makes when you have a holistic financial planner in your life.
And I think many of us as CFPs know this intuitively as we work with clients, but it'll be great to have the peer-reviewed academic study and the data behind it that proves what we all know to be true. Liz, I'll turn it over to you to talk about the competency standards and the Competency Standards Commission.
Thanks, Matt. Setting, administering, and upholding the certification standards is, of course, at the center of CFP Board's strategic priorities and our mission. CFP Board has the obligation to ensure that the requirements for CFP certification remain valid, reliable, and even legally defensible for the benefit of the public. Recently, the Board of Directors approved what we consider and call a big, bold initiative to review and evaluate the current certification standards, or competency standards, as we say internally. This includes the experience, the exam, and the education requirements, both for initial certification and for continuing education. Last year, we convened a Competency Standards Commission of experienced volunteers and professionals to conduct this review. This is the first ever top-to-bottom comprehensive review of these standards. And the intent of the review is to take a holistic view of our standards, make sure that they are relevant and up to date. The commission met monthly over the last year, and they reviewed best practices in testing and certification. They solicited input from CFP professionals and candidates for CFP certification. They also consulted with representatives who oversee other well-regarded designations from the CFA Institute, American Speech Language Hearing Association, National Council of Architectural Registration Boards, and the Society for Human Resource Management. The commission identified areas for further discussion and analysis in 2024. Later this year, the commission will recommend any changes or modifications to the board, and then they will be subject to a public comment period for the board to listen to and deliberate on any approval. Matt, I'll turn it back to you to share some of the details of additional new resources at CFP Board.
Thanks, Liz. In January, we released a new video series and handbook designed to educate CFP professionals and the public about CFP Board's enforcement and adjudication process. The overview video and a video of the grievance process are intended to demystify the enforcement process and are primarily geared toward the public. The handbook and the other 7 videos are most relevant to respondents in a CFP Board proceeding. The steps CFP Board takes to uphold the Code of Ethics and Standards of Conduct distinguish CFP professionals and CFP certification from other credentials in the financial services profession. We strive to uphold standards in a way that is fair to those whose conduct is being evaluated and also credible to the public. The handbook for respondents gives an overview of CFP Board's enforcement process, including the investigation process, information about what to do after receiving a complaint, how to file and answer or settle the complaint, and what to expect before, during, and after a hearing or review held by CFP Board's Disciplinary and Ethics Commission. We also recently published our guide to CFP Board's technology standard. This guide is a resource to assist CFP professionals in complying with the Code of Ethics and Standards of Conduct when it comes to selecting, using, and recommending technology. This guide applies to all technology used to serve clients, including the use of advanced artificial intelligence tools. Additionally, CFP Board also developed sample questionnaires that cover key concepts and a technology evaluation checklist that CFP professionals may reference when evaluating their technology.
You know, Matt, I'm going to really encourage, let's hold on this slide here for a second. I'm going to encourage the CFP community to take a look at this because we had all of the major financial planning software companies represented as we created this. There's a questionnaire that can serve as an RFP that if you're looking at new software, gives you a way to evaluate those because you know, as a CFP professional, one of your duties is to understand the technology you're using, understand if there are any biases, and make sure that, you know, that you're able to uphold your commitments to your clients. So if you've not seen this document, I think you can get it at cfp.net/guidance.
Yeah, and Kevin, as a CFP professional and as a firm owner, I'll tell you, from looking at the guide and the resource, it's extremely helpful. It helps create a process for when you're evaluating your technology stack. Like Kevin says, it makes sure you follow the guidance that CFP Board has, but it's also just a helpful guide when you're evaluating different products, making sure that the right technology solutions are in place. It was a lot of hard work and very worthwhile and something that I think CFP Board or CFP professionals will find very helpful.
All right, so I think at this point we've covered a lot of what we've been up to today. We've received some questions beforehand. We have some here now. I'm going to go first, Matt, this first question to you from Michael. Michael asks, when will any new marketing be initiated and what themes will CFP Board be crafting for its TV advertisement? So we had the Bungie ad last year. There's another one coming. We won't talk about it yet, but I think it's even better.
Perfect timing for this question, Michael, because we have a new ad coming out this month. Like we talked about a little bit earlier, in 2023, we debuted the first television ad in our 3-year public awareness campaign, It's Gotta Be a CFP. The theme behind that campaign is to contrast the feeling of uncertainty in a high-risk situation with the confidence and feeling of security that you get with working with a qualified professional. We've actually filmed 3 TV ads for the campaign. The second television ad, dubbed Surgery, launches March 18 and runs for 9 weeks. Again, join us next Thursday, March 14 at 1 p.m. to learn more about the campaign, and then you get to preview the new commercial. I think you'll really like it.
Yeah, it really captures the essence of, you know, some of the angst a person feels when they're making a decision and casts the, you know, helps equip a prospective client to ask, are you a certified financial planner? Are you a CFP? This question comes from Gene. CFAI has made sweeping changes to their curriculum to account for the vast changes in technology and an evolving toolkit for professional planners. Does CFP Board anticipate making any changes to its standards regarding AI or machine learning? Our standards are not that prescriptive. They're more principles-based, and that technology guidance document that we just talked about is our effort. So again, we don't get into very prescriptive rules-based kinds of guidance. The standard as a duty of a CFP professional is principles-based, and that guidance document is designed to be helpful to you in understanding. Liz, question for you. Diane asked, when will there be an update on the changes to the competency standards? I think we've talked about that, but you gave us some broad strokes. Would you mind sharing kind of what's ahead and how this is going to play through?
Sure, Kevin. This is a very exciting initiative because it is so thorough, and the first time we've really looked at all of it together in a holistic way. The Competency Commission, who I mentioned, is just made up of wonderful professionals. They're going to meet 10 times this year. They're going to deliver their recommendations to the Board of Directors in November. And just was in the case last year with the proposed changes to the sanction guidelines and fitness standards, there will then be a 90-day public comment period. And we really want to hear from you. We encourage you to review the proposed changes, give us your input, let us know what's important to you, let us know what you think upholds our profession today and in the future, so that we can remain relevant and consistent for future professionals.
Liz, we talked some with some of the members of the Competency Commission today. Yeah, actually, I guess it was yesterday here at the board meeting. Any insights you got from those conversations?
It was really time incredibly well spent. The first thing to share is that we certainly know there are very passionate views on a key requirement, which is the bachelor degree for becoming a CFP certificant. You know, I would just clarify for those who aren't always sure, that requirement does not say you need a bachelor's degree to sit for the exam. The current requirement is that you will need the bachelor's degree before you are awarded the full certification. We heard really great discussion from the commission. They know this is, it's not that it's controversial, it's that people have very strong feelings about it. And they shared with us that today, those who might qualify that don't have a degree represent something less than 5% of today's certificates.
You know, and while we're just talking about competency standards, again, just to remind the CFP community, typically when we talk about CFP standards, people think of our ethical standards. But these competency standards are equally important. And we've had, you know, a recent review, 2017, 2018, we adopted new ethical standards, but we haven't looked holistically. We've done some piecemeal. We added the capstone course requirement in 2011 or 12. We added the college degree requirement. They announced it in 2002. It became effective in 2007. So there was a 5-year play out. And, you know, we've done some other, the apprenticeship pathway for experience was added on, but they were never done holistically. So I'm very excited. Jack Broad, who was chair of the board in 2020, is leading this effort. They're taking a very deliberative, very easy for you to say, right? They're taking a very deliberative, very purposeful, intentful review of everything. And look, you know, we're going to put it out for the CFP community and others, right, to take a look at and see ultimately where we land. We have a question. What is CFP Board doing to help advisors apply psychology and behavioral finance principles? We have a practitioner's guide to psychology of financial planning. If you come to one of our certificate connections, we've done free CE courses. John Loper of our CFP, of our staff, teaches those. We'll be continuing to do more, but thank you for that question. Let's just look at a couple other questions that are coming here. I'm going to give this, I'll let both Matt and Liz take this next one. I'm newly certified, says Jennifer. Always happy to have some, you know, one of our new folks listening. How would you suggest I start to identify CE opportunities? I'll let you each take a stab, and then I have a thought as well.
Well, first off, congratulations, Jennifer. That's awesome. Congratulations on obtaining your CFP certification. CE is meant, the reason that there's a CE requirement is a couple fold. Number one, we want to make sure that our CFP certificates are staying up and that their knowledge is staying relevant to what's going on in the industry and the profession. And it's also an opportunity to many times learn new things or brush up on topics that maybe you don't have a lot of experience about. And there's a lot of CE out there. There's a lot of different providers out there. My encouragement would be not to take it lightly, not to let it go too long where all of a sudden you're rushing at the end to garner a lot of the credits. What many times happens is then you don't get the full impact, you don't get the full value. Instead, treat it as an important resource and be able to spend the time where you learn, you enhance your knowledge, you enhance your ability to work with clients, and then it becomes time well spent.
Thanks, Matt. Congratulations. That's wonderful. Just to add to Matt's thoughts, I think CE gives new professionals a couple other opportunities to really build their professional experience and habits. So first, there's, for free, a number of magazines in our industry where reading them can get you some regular CE credit, and it's great to get in the habit of reading those. There's a lot of learning. I think the other, depending where you're living, we have some wonderful organizations out there that CE is part of their membership and part of their community, and it's a chance for you to build professional community while also getting CE. So I think both of those are good habits to get in as a new professional.
We have over 1,100 CE providers registered with CFP Board, so there are lots of places. I would again, just this morning, I would again reiterate, as you said, the membership associations. Our friends from NAPFA were with us this morning. We had Catherine DeTomo, who is the CEO of NAPFA, and Daphne Jordan, the elected chair, the chief volunteer officer of NAPFA. But FPA, there are so many ways to get good CE, and I would encourage you to look at the membership association. Here's a question. Marge asks, what, if anything, is CFP Board doing to promote personal finance in K through 12 and colleges to help these students be more knowledgeable on the topic? Let me, first of all, I'm going to break that into two pieces, right? So I think there are 34 states now that require some type of personal finance education at the high school level, or at least to have a course offered, if not required. And so there's a move underway, and that is taking, continues to sweep across the country. So that's kind of the K through 12. That's happening, educational mandates that are going through. Interesting, Marge also asked, what are we doing in colleges? And we heard today, we had a panel of 3 faculty from our CFP Board registered programs. And one of the things that Nick from, what was Nick's last name? I should know Nick's last name, from Texas A&M mentioned was that he has a personal finance course on campus, 1 credit course, and he's able to recruit 7%. I thought that conversation, we had Dr. Sarah Acevedo from Texas Tech. We had Preston Cherry from the University of Wisconsin at Green Bay. And we had Nick Kilmer from Texas A&M. Anything that was memorable in that at the college level for personal finance?
I think it's becoming increasingly clear the more that we talk to experts in this area and the more that we talk to people who are doing the work on the ground and having these classes, whether it be high school or college, is there's a twofold benefit. Number one is the benefit of those students actually getting knowledge about personal finance and understanding what it is, getting a better start to their young adult lives, getting themselves on a sound financial footing, which also, many times becomes, they may be better clients for future CFP professionals. The second, though, benefit is that we're noticing that as we educate these people about the benefits of personal finance and what this is, there's all of a sudden an awareness that there is a profession out there that helps people with this. And like Kevin just alluded to, we're seeing some incredible potential from a workforce standpoint of people not being aware of CFP professionals, not being aware of personal finance, but then taking this personal finance course, learning it, realizing that they really like this and they could maybe do this for a career, and then looking for opportunities to do that.
Yeah, Nick's doing it at Texas A&M. Dr. Craig Lemoyne is doing it at the University of Illinois. Dr. Luke Dean is doing it at Utah Valley University. And it's the kind of thing that we're looking at. How can we do more of these? Because not only does it help the students, one, that's a good thing, but two, it is it's a way to build awareness of financial planning as an attractive career choice. So good. Let me go to the next question here. Did you have anything to add on what the faculty said this morning, Liz?
I would just add quickly, it was wonderful to hear. So hopefully it also confirms the professionals out there that, the board of directors here is very focused on it. We want to hear feedback from the field. It's a topic with us as well, just as you. The piece that they also said, aside from all that, is almost all of their graduates are in demand for jobs immediately. We know we're trying to build a pipeline out there. We're trying to build talent. And all three of these academics told us their students are going right into the profession.
It was a fascinating section this morning. It was a strategic discussion. It went on for an hour and a half. Dr. Martin C. at Kansas State led part of the board through the discussion as well. But there was another piece that I thought the faculty said, and I think I knew this intuitively, but I maybe hadn't really thought about it. It was the importance, if you're alumni and there's not a CFP board registered program, or if you are close by and have relationships with the faculty, the dean, the department chairs in these colleges and universities, they've all reiterated how important it was for the profession to reach out. Now, we at CFP Board have a college and university relations department. And, if you're interested, or if we can be of help, give us a call at CFP Board, ask to talk to Phil Dawson. We'll help you fashion or even go with you to make a visit if that's appropriate as well, because we have a goal of growing the number of people who qualify to sit for a CFP Board registered program by virtue of completing a degree program, right? We have lots of people who are already in the profession or career changers who do a certificate program, but we have a goal of growing the number of programs, making the existing degree programs more effective. And so we'll partner up with you and make those calls. Matt? James asks, how does CFP Board continue to try to differentiate itself as the industry continues to naturally move all financial advisors from a suitability standard to a fiduciary standard?
Great question, James. And first of all, we're extremely encouraged that the broader financial advice ecosystem is moving from a suitability standard to a fiduciary standard. The financial planning profession is really leading the way and is leading the entire financial advice ecosystem towards that fiduciary standard. And I think that's a good thing. Certainly, as part of our certification, CFP professionals, we commit to CFP Board that will act as a fiduciary when providing advice to a client, and that we're going to place that client's interest first when providing that financial advice. This commitment to a fiduciary standard is the keystone of CFP certification, and it's why it's so valuable to financial advisors, and it's why consumers demand CFP professionals and demand the fiduciary standard.
Liz, Jason, he doesn't ask a question, he expresses an opinion, and I'll share it with you. We should hear Jason's point of view. CFP should allow an associate's degree as well. College has zero bearing on the ability to do this job, et cetera. Kind of goes on. That debate is really passionate.
It is passionate. We've heard all the different sides. And, you know, I can tell you even personally, when you meet people one-on-one and you meet the person who's has an associate's degree or has been in the industry for 30 years, they're amazing people. You say, yes, I want this person to be a CFP professional. This is why we have a competency commission that has come together. How many people are on that commission, Kevin?
There are about a dozen folks.
Thank you. And they are, you know, they're really looking at all sides of this. We look forward to hearing how they come out later this year in evaluating what the opportunities can be and what different paths that might make sense in 2024 to become a CFP professional.
So Andy writes, I got my CFP certification 3 months ago. Congratulations, Andy. How long does it take to show your name in the Find a CFP search on our portal? Andy, you should be up right away. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to call CFP Board's main number, talk to our stakeholder services folks. They'll walk you through, because there are a couple of things on your record that have to be checked or appropriately in the right place. You have to say that I'm accepting new clients and a couple other things, and that is how you can handle that. For Let's Make a Plan, they have to choose it as their profile, one of our folks here says. So just give a call to CFP Board. We're here from 8:30 to 6, Monday through Friday, Eastern time. So Andy, congratulations. Well, here's one I'm not going to touch. Is it better to be a member of NAPFA or FPA? We're not going to touch that. Both. I think you're right. Both. If you're fee only, the answer is both. Who gave that question? Was it better to be a member of CFP? Andy, who just got, I think it's the same Andy. Are there any resources for finding a job or a career as a CFP? You know, everybody's hiring. We have the CFP Board Career Center. We have literally dozens of new jobs posted at each week on the CFP Board Career Center. And so cfp.net/career center. I'd also, though, encourage you, Andy, to go to industry, take your resume, go to industry events, talk to people. There's no exit, you know, there are plenty of people hired.
I think you'll find naturally too, Andy, as you reach out, most CFP professionals that are already practicing, that already own firms, that are already in the industry are probably more willing or would love to talk to you, right? And to give you their experiences. And there's many times a lot of connections that come off of that. Again, like Kevin said, there's a lot of firms that we know that are hiring. We hear it all the time. And so, you know, normally the CFP community is great towards one another, especially you as a new CFP certificant. You'll find lots of people out there willing to help. And so feel free to reach out.
You know, Andy, because your first question was how to show up on the profile and Let's Make a Plan. I always tell young career searchers, go to Let's Make a Plan and find firms that are in a geographic area you're targeting. And you're going to get a great list of CFP professional firms that you can reach out to.
Yeah, what a great idea that is, because a lot of times people aren't geographically mobile, and that's a great way. Gary again doesn't ask a question, but gives us advice. CFP Board approved registered programs are a great source of internship candidates. Matt, I know you have used, I think both of you, Liz, as well, have used candidates. How do you interact with your local CFP Board registered program?
Yeah, so our local registered program, we do a couple things with them. So they have a class that is part of that class. They have a group of students come out to different firms throughout the area. We volunteer for that. And from that, we get to reach a lot of kids and hear a lot about their stories and get some firsthand experience. We also go to their career fairs, participate and speak in their classes when available. But they are the people coming out of these CFP board registered programs are spectacular young individuals who are passionate about what they're doing, are passionate about helping people live a better financial life. And you find some just incredible individuals that can be of huge help to your firm. So if you can get involved in the local registered programs, I think you should absolutely do that.
Scroll back up just a little high right there. John asked, what's the link to see brochures for our clients and for technology brochure you showed earlier? The technology guidance is CFP Board guidance. So John, thank you for that. Next question here. Liz, I'll give you this one. This is a question from Carol. What are your expectations for the DOL fiduciary rule? Where do things stand now? So I'll give you that. And then Matt, I know you've been involved with us on that one as well.
Yeah, thanks for that. In November, the Department of Labor's Employee Benefits Security Administration published a proposed new rule that would expand the definition of an investment advice fiduciary under ERISA, the Employee Retirement Income Security Act. None of us say that anymore. It's ERISA, right? Last December, Dan Moisen, who was our board chair, and Camila Elliott, our 2022 board chair, testified in support of the proposed rule at a DOL hearing. And in January, CFP Board filed a comment letter in support of the proposed rule. CFP Board has advocated for the DOL's adoption of the proposed regulation because we believe that the public benefits from financial professionals adhering to a fiduciary standard. We're hopeful that the DOL will submit the final rule to the White House Office of Management and Budget for its required review soon, which is the final step in the rulemaking process. After OMB's review, the rule will be sent back to the DOL, and DOL will likely release the final rule soon after. There's a number of legislative and legal hurdles ahead even after that. So staff will continue to provide advocacy and support of that proposal.
Matt, you had an experience this week. You were on a panel before congressional staff and members of Congress talking about the DOL. Share a little more on that experience, if you would.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. And the advocacy group here at CFP Board has done a great job over this last couple of months of putting CFP Board in a spot to be able to help push this rule along. You know, I think my biggest takeaway from meeting with the staff of the congressmen and congresswomen is that there's a lot of misconceptions out there, and there's a lot of headlines and misunderstandings about what this rule will do and what it won't. And we're trying to play our part in helping people understand why this protects the consumer, why this is good for the public good, why this helps benefit everyday Americans, and why this is important to continue to push the financial planning and the financial advice ecosystem forward.
Matt, we appreciate you doing that. Talk about you, but also it was interesting, other people on this panel referring to CFP.
Yeah, so back in 2017, 2018, CFP Board passed our fiduciary standard, where CFP professionals now have to follow a fiduciary standard when they're giving any financial advice. And that was an important milestone for us here at CFP Board. And it was also an important milestone for the profession as a whole. And so now, as this fiduciary standard is going out via the Department of Labor, a lot of people are using what CFP Board did several years ago as an example of the benefits and as an example of what we can expect if this Department of Labor rule goes into effect. And it's really neat to see the CFP Board and what we've done over the many years of pushing this profession forward start to have a broader impact across the entire ecosystem. And we've set the example, and we've been a leader in this area, and we'll continue to be so.
Elizabeth writes, so great to see the numbers, the great numbers, and all the new CFP professionals from 2023. Are there plans to create a retired category? We actually do have a retired category. It's a CFP Board Emeritus. And if you would like more information on that, just Google it. It's available on our website, cfp.net/emeritus. Michael writes, I'm very proud of my CFP. Encourage all to go forward in this noble profession. Well, we couldn't agree more, Michael. I think we got time for a couple more questions. We'll be done by the top of the hour. Liz, as CFP Board considering allowed some portion of CE credits to be derived from practice management? This goes back to the Competency Commission.
We had thanks for that question. You know, we had a pretty robust discussion around the board on this topic yesterday. As we shared, we got an update from the Competency Board, and some of these sub-chairs were bringing to the board their most pressing questions. So they've broken into subcommittees. One of them is looking specifically at our continuing education requirements, and you know, they've been working it out among themselves. They've brought as many issues as they hear from you forward, and they brought some pointed questions to the board to say, here's things we are hearing out there, and we want to hear what you're thinking. And what I can share is that I think they're considering everything, and they're considering it from every angle. And I feel like I can confidently say, if you've thought of it, it's been brought to the forefront for them, and they're going to take it seriously and talk it through.
Yeah, I think that's great. Matt, question from you, from Paul. Are there any programs that combine CFP professionals with education programs that provide pro bono planning for the community?
Paul, it's great to learn that you're interested in pro bono. That's awesome. Last year, the board actually passed a resolution recommending that all CFP professionals commit to providing at least 20 hours of pro bono financial planning each year. It's obviously not a requirement for certification, but we strongly believe that the profession and the public benefit greatly from pro bono service. We didn't mention this when we shared our 2023 stats, but we had a record number of CFP professionals report pro bono hours last year. And of course, we'd like to break that record again in 2024. CFP Board is proud to partner with the Foundation for Financial Planning to help make those pro bono opportunities a little bit easier. Training and resources available to all CFP professionals are also available through the foundation as well. The foundation has a National Volunteer Opportunity Clearinghouse at www.probonoplannermatch.org. Again, www.probonoplannermatch.org. And I also encourage everybody to visit the pro bono resources section of the CFP Board website at cfp.net/pro bono. CFP Board also has a pro bono manager, Molly Evans, and that can also help get you involved. Molly's email address is mevans@cfpboard.org.
We've got a couple quick ones. Are you working, Kathy writes, with, she puts with in scare quotes. Are we working with insurance and broker-dealer firms to gain their support for the CFP campaign? Look, just probably a good time just to remind people, $160 of your renewal fee is dedicated solely to the direct expenses of the campaign. It doesn't pay any overhead. It pays for TV commercials and other programs that directly support other advertising that directly supports CFP certification. So we're not working with anybody else, although indirectly, if you're a CFP professional or if you're paid, if your fee is renewal fees paid by a firm, then that firm obviously is helping support the program. I think one final question: when are we updating the ethics program? That's a perennial question. I'm happy to say we're on it. We're doing it this year. It's a joint effort of our professional practice team and our our folks in ethics, the work that comes under the general counsel's office. I would, I sometimes there are opportunities for us. I think as we go forward, we want to do that more frequently. I hear this complaint too often. So I'm with you. All right. I would like to thank Lynn McNutt, who is the executive producer of the CFP Board Connections webinar. Lynn, thank you for helping us through today. We're just about out of time. Before we wrap up, I'd like to encourage everyone to connect with me on LinkedIn. So if you're not already, I have tens of thousands of CFPs connected. Use this QR code to do that. We appreciate your time. We appreciate what you do for the profession. I'd like to thank Board Chair Matt Boersen and Chair-elect Liz Miller. Liz, I'll give you and then Matt the last word.
Thanks, Kevin. And thank you for everyone who joined us today, for your engagement, for you being with us. Hearing what's on your mind, hearing this feedback is invaluable to us. We get on the road a lot to hear it live. We like hearing it here. However we engage helps inform us even more. We're extremely excited about the programs we're working on this year to enhance the value of your CFP marks and to build a solid foundation for the profession's future. Matt?
Thanks, Liz. This is an absolute amazing time to be in this profession. It's an amazing time to be a CFP professional. And CFP Board is in a unique position where we can really be a conduit for progress throughout the financial advice ecosystem. We appreciate your interest and your involvement in CFP Board's important work to serve the public interest. And we thank you for taking the time today to participate in this webinar. Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.